Well, it's an interesting day here on the homestead. If you're not familiar with this type of living, when you live on 35 acres in the middle of the woods, you don't have access to normal, city folk amenities like sewage. So we have a sand mound septic tank. That's how we operate here. And every once in a while, you have to get it pumped out. So these guys are here today, economy septic tanks. And they are going to take care of business. I don't envy this job. I don't pretend to understand it. I just know that it needs to happen and I need to write them a check. Good morning, Betsy Beatrice. How are you? How are your babies? The pooper's full, so we're getting it pumped today. Oh my goodness, you're so cute. Can you explain at a high level how a sand mound works?
A high level?
You know, for my city friends.
The sewage goes into a tank where the solids float on top and the liquid goes to the bottom.
Oh, I had it opposite in my head.
Now solids are on top.
Okay.
There's an overflow from that tank that goes in with a dip tube down towards the bottom. It goes into a secondary tank. And our system is actually 3 tanks.
We have 3 tanks.
Yeah, and then we go from the secondary tank to the final tank. And the final tank is supposed to be just clear liquid. And in there's a pump with a float switch on it. When the level gets to a certain height, the pump comes on and pumps the fluid up into the sand mound.
Right.
The sand mound has distribution pipes with holes in them that's laid out on a gravel bed and then covered with sand. And it's like 3 feet thick or something like that. And then you plant grass and stuff over top of it. And the idea is that the liquid spreads out through the sand, and then the grass or evaporation or whatever takes care of the liquid and it goes away. It doesn't really have to soak into the ground to a large extent. Although some does soak into the ground. That's why they perk test it.
Yeah.
But the majority of it goes up through evaporation and grass or whatever out of there. So anyhow, that first tank, that sludge layer that floats on top, has to be periodically removed.
Yeah, because it just gets too much.
It gets thicker and thicker and thicker. And if it gets too thick, then it goes over into the secondary tank.
Oh, bad.
And the worst case scenario is it goes into the 3rd tank and sludge gets pumped up into your sand mound and clogs everything up.
Oh. How big are these tanks?
The primary is 1,000 gallons.
Oh,
and
big.
I think the secondaries are 500 probably.
So will they be able to tell us about how much they pumped and, about how many years we should do it? Or?
Oh, well, yeah. I don't trust anybody asking them how often or how much or whatever.
Right.
You should do something that they're selling.
Right. Okay, could you ask them, knowing your numbers, ask them how much they pumped? Would you be able to calculate, was this an appropriate amount of time? We've been here 4 years.
They're going to tell you every 2 to 3 years.
And what are your thoughts?
Well, like Jeff and Katie's down there was last pumped like 20 years ago. Yeah.
But it probably needed it.
Yeah, and this never used to happen. On septic systems and all, people used to let them go forever until and that's not right either. But it depends on the usage and a whole bunch of things. And,
well, we're a pretty big family.
I'd say every 3 to 4 years is plenty.
Okay, well, this is the 4th year we've been here.
And it's different on initial versus ongoing, because at first there was absolutely nothing
in it, yeah. What's the difference between this sand mound and a traditional septic tank?
Well, the tank, there's not that much difference. All the traditional septic tanks don't have pumps. They're strictly gravity, and they don't go out and up to a sand mine. They just go lower and lower in the ground.
So it depends on the soil and the permeation, yes?
Yes, it's how permeable the soil is.
Right. So they tested our soil and they said we need a sand
It was not acceptable for septic
Okay,
tank, but it was
unacceptable
sand
for
mine.
traditional. But aren't they saying that most often now?
Yes, almost everywhere around here.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's true in other areas. See, our soil isn't very permeable, is evidenced by puddles of water everywhere,
Yes.
because it's a high clay content.
High clay.
That's
Got it.
it.
Well, how about that? We've all received quite the education today on how you use the restroom in the country. I think what we'll do is get this sucker pumped out every 3 to 4 years and we should be all set.